You see what happened with TikTok. If TikTok goes away, your business model goes away. You see what happens when Instagram goes down, everyone freaks out. But why would it matter if you own your audience? Why would it matter if you had an email newsletter and you could just tell all the people that really care, hey, here's where to find me, here's where you can get my content. What's going on? What's happening? It's your homie CL Palmer, aka clpodgang, and I am back riding with my boy Walter Gander II. What's happening, Walter, man?
What's going on? What's going on, man? I'm excited. We doing this.
Hey,
Doing this, man.
so we'd like to welcome y'all to this new podcast thing. What it's called, I don't know. We don't actually have a name. This podcast is called something. By the time you see it, though, it'll have a name. I don't know if it's gonna be the catch up, the wrap up, the recap. You know, the purpose of this podcast show is to bring in some of the things that people like us who have a real growth mindset um,
Mm-hmm.
go through every week, and the things that we are doing that's helping us grow, whether it be personal, in business, um, or even anywhere in between, workflow, however you feel like you're growing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's so many different ways that we grow, and the lessons can transpire or transpose across different platforms. You know, it doesn't matter where you end up using it at. So yeah, that's kind of the idea behind what we're doing here. Uh, but then we also gonna be talking about some of the things that happen in the news, some things that we found to be interesting. Maybe it was a piece of marketing that we may have never seen before, or we seen and we just felt like it was genius. Because if you're a marketing nerd, you actually like watching commercials. It's really weird. If you meet anyone who likes watching commercials, they're definitely working in marketing.
Man, caveat to that asterisk.
Go ahead.
You like watching good commercials,
This is
and you
true.
don't like seeing the same commercial over and over. I got Paramount, and they love putting that. There's this one commercial right now. I got her name. She's really popular and like famous. She's a singer, Sabrina Carpenter, I think. It's a
Okay.
Dunkin' Donuts commercial. And I personally don't like it. I do watch it, like you said, like with the nerd mindset on, but it's like I just don't care for it at all, and so I just like wish it would stop. So yeah, I'm the person. I don't like watching bad movies, and so I got some critiques, of course, but yeah, no, I definitely with you, man. I wish it was easier to find commercials. Like I want them to put commercials up on YouTube so I could go back and be like, okay, who was the actor, who was the extra, what did they use? Which team was in it? So yeah, I'm curious,
Sounds like a podcast.
man. Not for real.
But now that's actually interesting because I do be feeling like that sometimes when I catch a commercial. I'm just like, where did this come from? I'm like this is really good. It's like this
Yeah,
when I see somebody with some good copy or a good punchline, I'm just like, yo, y'all killed it. Y'all,
killed
somebody up
it.
there. I hope they got a raise. Whoever did this one.
Yeah, I feel like the only place where I mean, I guess like Ad Age has some stuff up on there, but what's it? Cons line, that whole, that annual
Oh,
whatever. I
film
feel like
stuff.
that's the only, yeah, that's the only place where I see like advertisers celebrating. I feel like it's like in this old bubble, this kind of bougie bubble, and people get invited. Like I don't know some creators who like go out there and stuff, and it's dope. But it's like it's only in that world where I see this type of stuff super celebrated or just acknowledged, and sometimes it's stuff that I've never seen before. I feel like it doesn't really cross over out of it. So yeah, maybe that's your.
So man, let's
That's,
let's let's kind of get back into this to the last couple weeks, man, because we've been chatting on and off, and I know there's been a few things that have happened, i.e., the TikTok ban and the TikTok comeback, and everybody losing it, getting it back, telling they was lying the whole time. Oh, I just playing, you know, all this stuff, bruh. Like this is I swear, bro, if there was ever a moment for everyone to remember that the internet is fake, this was it. It's like just in case you forgot, this is not the internet is not real life. You can see things happen on the internet that are real, but the existence of things that live on the internet, it's not real, bro. Not everybody's
Bro.
story is real. Some of these are bits. Some of these storytellers need to start writing novels. It's okay. It's like you put so much work into these videos because you was just a little bit too lazy to actually put it down with the pen and the paper. But maybe you might be gifted as an orator. But either or, write the book and then make the audio book. You can do both. They
You
got
can do
options
both.
for you, bro. You ain't got to be out here just lying because you feel like
Man, yeah, because I haven't seen the videos, but I remember there's that whole hashtag where there's like a like confession talk or something where people were basically like, well, since it's banned, I'll just share it. Like they're talking about these like brand deals they do. They don't even use the product. They get like a family member, someone to do it or something else. They hate it, but they'll put that video out and get that check, which like not fully mad at, but at the same time, it's like, damn, really? And then, but I think the biggest thing for me is like not just the internet, but just like these people's stances and stuff. Cause it was never really about like the whole like data privacy thing is a real issue, but like if you really like standing 10 toes down on it, then you wouldn't be on any of these apps like Facebook Messenger. The things it could do just with like knowing like how you're connected to Wi-Fi and all the other devices that are in your home and all these stuff is kind of crazy. And like some of these apps, like I think Red Note, I heard something about like and when people were flocking over to it, which I was a fan of people doing that, like a good protest. But
bruh.
what they do, like I think I heard someone say they could read your text messages and save it on their servers and stuff. So I mean, like there's a lot of change that needs to be happened, but the whole like reasoning and motivation that they're sharing for like wanting to ban TikTok by they I mean all these politicians and people can't buy that. Never really bought it, and all the stuff that happened is just proof that not real, not real, man. It's all about control.
So bro, you hit on so many different things, man. And I I could talk about the government part. I'm gonna come back to that. Excuse me. But I gotta go back to the privacy part because
Oh yeah, let me know when I need to put my tinfoil hat back on because I know I went full conspiracy on it though. Okay,
so back when in 2020 when like TikTok was really jumping off.
hmm
What did I tell you about that shit?
You said it's not good. I remember you like I'm not downloading it
Why did I tell you I wasn't downloading it?
because the whole privacy stuff.
Because it was owned by China. It was a Chinese company. It wasn't owned by the Chinese government, but it's a Chinese company.
Mm.
Some of the most ruthless hackers on the planet come from China. So no, I didn't want your China app on my phone. That was but this is 2020. So I'm an IT guy. I'm skeptical. But then what happened was it started to democratize media coverage, and then that's when I realized I'm like, okay, even if China was pushing their like thumb on the scale or however you say it, they're letting the truth out on so many different fronts. And that's when I realized I'm like, okay, so it might not be such a bad thing to have. I'm still not gonna put it on my phone. But I do think people need to have this because now we're doing real journalism. You can talk about a couple other things that happened with the TikTok ban, which is like, besides people crashing out, it was like what were they going to do? Because so many people have built their entire following, income, business model, everything exists on TikTok. And now I
Mm,
recently did a video, and now I didn't put the quote in there, but I want to say in 2000, what is this? This 2025?
mhm.
Jesus Christ.
We here.
It's 2025, bro.
In 75 years, it's gonna be 2100. Your grandkids gonna be talking about what you're doing right now.
Crazy you say. But I want to say it's probably around like 2014, 2015. When I first discovered content marketing, and I discovered Joe Polizzi, Robert Rose, and the Content Marketing Institute.
Mm,
And one of the big things was, when it comes to content, do not build your house on rented land. That means you are using social media as a tool to grow your audience and making sure that you own your audience. This is why back in the day it was so important to have your own website, for you to have a blog, um, for you to even use stuff like Vimeo, because Vimeo allowed you to have more control over your audience, unlike YouTube, but it wasn't the thing
mm,
that we needed. And then even down to podcasts, and even down to the email newsletter. Now, the email newsletter is by far the one that's stood the test of time. Now, websites are still important. I still feel like everybody who's doing anything relevant online, if you want to look like you for real about this, you should have a website. And this is not me trying to just tell you that because I want you to come call me to come get a website. It's like, no, you see what happened with TikTok. If TikTok goes away, your business model goes away. You see what happens when Instagram goes down, everyone freaks out. But why would it matter if you own your audience? Why would it matter if you had an email newsletter and you could just tell all the people that really care, hey, here's where to find me, here's where you can get my content. I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on TikTok, or whatever. You can always keep what you have for yourself and not let any of these people make up the rules or tell you what you cannot do, because it's yours. So, I would very much encourage people to learn a big lesson from temporarily being without TikTok.
mm. No, that's real. And I think the whole like don't build your business on rented land. There's a barrier to entry there, but the past 2 years in particular, the barrier's gotten shorter. But before you had to like climb and climb over it, but now you just got to do a little step over it because there's
Hmm.
tools like Beehive, which is now essentially both email and a website, and you can use it for free. There's Substack, kind of same thing. Shout out to Black Pod News. They're built off of Substack, and when you
Love
go to it, it
Substack.
looks as though you're on a whole website because it has multiple tabs and stuff, and has your emails that you send out, but it's also available via the web and to get SEO and stuff.
Hmm.
So even like all these link in bio tools like beacons, where they're pushing like getting websites together and stuff. There's
Yeah.
so many more tools now that make
Hmm.
things more accessible without the upfront investment. Um, that is really now it's like definitely go all out on socials, but just treat it like what it is. It's a discoverability channel distribution
Yes.
platform. Like artists when they put their music up, I mean that's it's kind of a different example actually because
But
they're
no,
fully on
but that's
streaming now.
it is different, but that's a good way to explain it, which is like, the music doesn't live on social media, and
Yeah,
you can access the music through a streaming platform, but they all have a website where you can get the tickets, you can get the merch, you can buy physical copies, vinyls,
yeah, but not
whatever.
all of them. That's what kind of got me stuck because shout out to Russell. I know he's like had a partnership with this app where you could like buy the music for real,
Mm,
and you get it. He has some ownership of it, but like Spotify could decide to like the whole thing with when they were talking about kind of like banning R. Kelly and like Kendrick or like and a few other artists, there were like a don't do that, blah blah blah. You do that, I'm taking my music down, the yada yada. And for them, it was more so about like freedom of creativity and stuff, and it was like a slippery slope. So I get it, but like, Spotify's and Apple Music, they could choose to stop, fucking with you too. So like a lot of artists, like, it's Spotify is not that much different from Instagram or a TikTok or anything like that. So yeah, it really is like a another step, and it's like you can't really fully depend on that because you won't get as many people on there versus a Spotify. Like me personally, like I'm saying this, and also I just know that if I'm listening to something, it's gonna be on Spotify. I'm
Yeah.
not going to a website to listen to music, and I'm not buying CDs anymore either. It's just to be real, but I am going over to stream. But if your music was taken down, I really like you as an artist, then I would go that extra step to go to the place that I already know existed because you already built it. And I would, if I really like you and stuff, then I'm gonna chip in. Like I'm actually considering to get J. Cole's kind of $10 podcast thing that he put out
Mm.
recently. Because at first I was like, I'm not paying for that, but I was like, you know what? I actually do want to pay for that. I want to hear these stories, and I think he already put the music out like a little after, but I still want to kind of be in that. So now I think it's like you're not gonna catch every single fish, but you'll catch like the the fish that fuck with you, your core fans for real. So
Uh, but bro, I need to say you had like about 10 minutes. So real quick, bro, I want you to run down what happened to you after you started talking about the TikTok ban on LinkedIn.
man, so like the TikTok ban. So I was upset as a consumer. I love scrolling on
Mm.
TikTok. China got my info. They got my address. They know what I like to buy. They got me.
They got
So does Amazon though. So yeah, I was. But what really another thing on the professional side, I was concerned about CapCut because I didn't think about it until like later on, a few days before it was going to ban that because CapCut's owned by ByteDance is in jeopardy of being banned too. This whole time I was only thinking about TikTok and not the whole company as a whole, and including Lemonade, which I actually really love Lemonade, and I'm excited it's back too. But CapCut, I know like so many content creators that use CapCut, but then when I posted about it, I was like, oh man, just realizing that CapCut's going to be banned too, owned by the same company. That was literally the post. I posted it, and everyone's like, "What?" And it was like, "Oh, I just saw that too." Yada yada. This that, and I've learned one that a lot of like people use it professionally. A lot more people than I thought. Teams use it, but then what happened as people were commenting, three different brands pulled up to the post and commented on it as well because I saw the attention. And I was like,
Mm.
okay, one, I'm like, okay, yeah, all these other companies, they ready. Like TikTok man, bet. Come over with us. You use CapCut? Can't anymore. Come fuck with us. And basically they were like, hey, we're here, we use it, and we're a great alternative. So I replied to two of them on the post in the comment. I was like, "Would you want to do a live talking about it?"
Mm.
One, Vid IQ or whatever it is, Vidio. They were like, "We don't do lives, but we're here to answer any questions." So I like, cool. I was like, "I'm not trying to do that. I want to see if anyone
You
wants
don't
to do
do
a live."
lives?
Right? I was like, what are you talking about, man? I was like, but it's whatever. It's a bigger company. I was like, all right. I just seen whoever be interested to do it just off of that, like not like this whole negotiation thing. I replied to this other person who's a founder, and he started a group chat with a few other people. We're doing a live this coming Wednesday, and another one. I didn't even ask them. They dropped a dope GIF on on the post. I was like, I replied back like, "Oh, points for the GIF usage." And then they replied back, "We do lives too." So it was actually that showed me that not only are they there, but they're actually reading what's going on. They're part of the
Mm.
conversation. I like their use
Engaging.
of gifts, like culturally in tune,
Mm.
more than like. So I was like, all right, yeah. So we're emailing right now, trying to figure out a time. But it's like, what's so cool about that is like at the beginning of this year, like everyone has these plans and ambitions. Something that hit me was looking at all the stuff that I wanted to do in 2024, and I did some of them but not how I wanted to, or not the way showing up the way I wanted to. So This to me was like a kind of a law of attraction, universe coming to bring me stuff that I'm seeking. It was natural because I had the mindset like the brands that commented me replying to them. I just kind of have this principle now. Like if someone's promoting or selling to me, I'm gonna promote or sell right back to them if I didn't,
Mm,
especially if I didn't ask for it, type of thing.
right.
And so that was me just shooting the shot, be like, hey, and then like genuine connections were born from that. So yeah, I'm doing this will probably already happen by the time this is out, but I did a live with one of them, Slate, with their director of customer success, who she's an incredible person. It just was really cool at the beginning of our call. We were just talking about the TikTok ban and like changes we're seeing now, just like as
Mm,
regular people. So, and they have a really cool platform. And also, I'm learning like there's so many softwares out there. So, like, yeah, it's alternative to CapCut, but like for a particular type of person, like this is for teams. And there's another brand that I'm really close with their founders called Choppity, and they're a great video editing tool. And it's like everyone has different types of like ideal use cases and solutions and who they're for. So it's just cool to see all these different tools coming out, and like not every tool is for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's real. I'm a Descript shield. I'm always pushing Descript everywhere I go. So it's like
great, great
I
tool.
really don't be having time to listen to anybody talk about no ads. I want to hear that. I'm like, I'm straight. You know how you be in the grocery store and Walmart and they be trying to talk to you about your internet service.
What phone plan do you have?
I don't want to hear that shit. No, 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 no. I got my
Uh,
earbuds in. I can't hear this shit right now.
right?
But nah, that
That's
that's
hilarious.
dope though. I love that because that happened so organically. Um
Yes.
this was literally nothing that you planned. You just wanted to talk about something that was literally affecting you. And like you said, through that law of attraction, it kind of snowballed into something much bigger and much more community focused. So
Yeah.
like that's super dope. I'm definitely glad to hear stuff like that. I'm gonna have to try to pull up to that next live though for sure.
Oh yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, because it's gonna be an ongoing thing, and it's. I feel like it's kind of helping me get the train back on track, man. We locked in. We locked in.
Yeah, dog. So man, just keep me posted. Everybody out there that's listening to Washington, y'all stay locked in with Walt and make sure you find out when and where that live is gonna be. Because it's probably gonna be on LinkedIn, but you might be able to catch it in some other places. Uh,
Yeah, it's yeah, LinkedIn. LinkedIn. I got another live that's going to be on LinkedIn and YouTube, which is on actually. I think you might like this one in particular. It's all about timing and stillness and temporality.
that does sound like it's up my alley. Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, count me in on that one. Before I let you go though, because the thing that
mm.
I really wanted to talk about, we spent too much time talking about the government, but
Oh, right.
the
Let me take
thing
the
that
tinfoil hat off.
I really wanted to talk about out of this TikTok ban was fan base.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do
If
it.
anybody knows anything about fan base, it was started by Isaac Hayes III. Yes, the son of that Isaac Hayes, aka Ike Dirty. I got money in the bank. Shout out him for that beat. That was a dope beat. Um, but he started this, what was it like 2020, 2021, somewhere around there,
I
maybe a
first
little
saw
bit
it in
before.
2021, but he
But
started it before.
the whole point was because black people were getting let down by TikTok. They would do the dance and then the white people would take the dance and make all the money. And that was definitely a problem. And I'm not sure how much better it's gotten. But because that was happening, he felt like, black creators need to have a little bit more power, a little bit more influence on how they engage with their audience and make their money, which sounds cool, but it always felt like it wasn't quite what it was marketed to be because it was supposed to be an alternative to TikTok or Instagram, and you could just bring your audience with you that you already had. And every time I heard that, I was like, so wait, that means you got to have an audience. I was like, do y'all have a lot of people on y'all app already for me to grow a following? The short answer was no. They're only up to 800,000 users. Now that's not active because getting
Mm.
to the point, I cannot find an active user number. I'm gonna just say that right now. You find that about any other app, but I cannot find one about Fanbase. But they say they have 800,000 users. Um, so that's not a lot of people to get discovered by. But then you tell me that it's supposed to let you leave these other apps alone. That sounds like more like Patreon, where you have an audience and you want to engage with them further, more than it does sound like a social media competitor or TikTok, Instagram competitor. And so over the years, I have kept an eye on fan base. I've kept an eye on Isaac Hayes III and just seeing what's going on because he makes a lot of good points about things that happen on social media in service to bring up fan base. The problem that I have with fan base is not only do I not understand how y'all marketing this business model, but I'm not understanding if this is a real thing or not. Because I mean, I'm not accusing nobody of nothing. Let me just say that at the top. And if anybody wants to call me, hit me up with a DM and tell me that I'm wrong or give me some numbers or whatever, I'm all ears. But it has a little taste of scam on top
Mm.
because I don't hear any success stories from individuals who are on fan base. I don't hear anything about people who made a lot of money on fan base. I don't hear a lot of things about how much revenue fan base is bringing in. But I do hear a lot about how much money they raise from investors. And the new thing is you can be a creator, but you can also be an investor. And they raised 5.2 million here recently. And I was like, oh, that's great. You got 5.2 million via crowdfunding and people are downloading the app. But what was your revenue? I'm like, if anybody knows anything about investing for real, you got to know some numbers. And you
Mm.
telling me I can invest for less for, little as $10 or whatever. Okay, but is this actually going to turn into something? Somebody needs to tell me. It feels a little bit
So
like the juice certificates where it's like you get the certificates, but you don't really got the juice. So I was like, where the juice at? Like I need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying that there's definitely a scam going on, but it definitely feels like something is a little hollow. What you think, man?
man, so you're wrong, you're right, you're wrong, you're right. So I'll say first, I first heard about Fanbase when Clubhouse was, people, on there and everything. And I was like, bet, yeah, for sure. Cause, we see a lot of black creators getting banned off these other social media. So I was like, okay, yeah, we at least know, could be on there without getting banned for just like little things that would just lack cultural understanding. So I got on it, and the app actually does work. It is a real app. It's a real thing. I did make so like I didn't make a lot of money because I mean I wasn't on there like that. But basically went through the whole process and have gotten like generated revenue on the app. It was like 50 cents, but all 50 cents I did not make on Instagram, did not make on Snapchat, did not make anywhere else, did not make on Clubhouse. So, and it was the first app to have that monetized feature. um, Clubhouse didn't have that yet. Instagram didn't have it yet. Now they all do. All these apps have these subscription features on there, but it was the first one to have that already ready to go. And you weren't limited to having to have a certain number of followers to reach that number. So we had like one follower, you could monetize that one follower. So
Hmm.
that's why I
Okay.
say wrong about like, it does work. It's a legit thing. Now, the part you're right about is well, another thing with the users and stuff, it's also a newer app and it doesn't have the same, marketing power that these other ones do as of right now. And every app, they raise money and stuff, but usually not from a crowdfunding, it's usually like investors and stuff. I don't know why he hasn't, I forgot why he didn't go through that route. He's talked about it and I don't know why he hasn't since then. But Yeah, it is, and I think you're right as well. Like, where's all the additional information? Because we hear about, the possibilities of what it means to be a black owned this, black owned that. And the messaging is great, but for that to be the only messaging, that would definitely raise some red flags. So it's like perfectly like rational for anyone to be skeptical about the app when that's all you're hearing about. Like when people push like black owned, I'm a fan of that. Black owned advocate and everything, that's great. But like building everything off of the concept of being a black on this or that is not good. Because like one thing I learned, because I invested in Fanbase, and I was like, yeah, no other app has that. It took Facebook like less than a year to roll out a monetization subscription feature. So like the whole like we're the only app that does this no longer existed. The whole like idea of like, oh, we build an app off of that. It's like another company did that in less time because they had more power. So it was like you gotta like be very intentional about how you're messaging and promoting your stuff. Um, the other thing is like these other apps like TikTok. The thing that's so great about it is it's a discoverability engine. So is YouTube, and Fanbase doesn't have that built in yet. Basically, like the way that I've seen people get a ton of engagement isn't from posting. It's by interacting in these like in the audio rooms or the live space. So there has to be like a direct social interaction, and the features do work. It's cool, but like me personally, I'm not trying to be in like the live audio spaces on Fanbase. Like I did at first, but like at that time, I'll be honest, like the vibes were just all the way off there. It was cool, and there's a lot of great people I met through there, but it's kind of there was this weird energy that kind of took over. And I've heard this from other people too, and it was like I feel like the people who were there at that very beginning were just clinging to the fact that they were the first on fan base, so they didn't really
Mhm.
have a lot going on, but they acted like they had a lot going on. And it sounds shady, but like that was the vibe I got. It's kind of like some Lord of the Flies energy where they were like fighting. There was like this whole
That's a
like
good
this whole
reference.
blue dot club and this other clique, and I was like, yo, what are y'all talking about? Why are y'all mad at each other? Yada yada yada. And then it just became more of like the gender war debates, and they still exist and stuff. So saying all that to say, like the app is legit, but at the time I didn't feel like I could really use it because the whole messaging that Isaac Hayes was pushing was like a bring your audience over. But he wasn't really talking to like me who didn't have an audience, like a good sized audience to make it worth it. He was trying to get the Kais and knots and all this stuff. And to your point, we have not heard any fan based success stories. TikTok got tons of success stories. YouTube has tons of success stories. Snapchat, even
Mhm.
Instagram. That's why people still there because we see tangible evidence of someone going through the system and it working. We haven't seen that for fan base yet. It's still the pushing the y'all doing this over here, but you won't do it over here. Kai's getting
It's
banned
it's
off of
this.
Twitch, but he with this. Yeah, it's all this like it's the same stuff that like the whole like all these like gurus that kind of come off as scammy too. Like, if y'all did this, if y'all set up your LLC when you were in third grade and learned about trucking, you would be this, that, this. So, man, it's like, well, what's going on? What we doing? What are we doing? So, yeah, no, you are absolutely right. Like, and I love the fact that he did the crowdfunding thing because it's like, okay, yeah, we get a chance to invest in something that we wouldn't like. We never had a chance to invest in Facebook, but I don't know where and I also maybe I just missed it, so I will say that, but I think there's other stuff that investors would ask a company to understand, like, okay, what are these numbers? What's this numbers? What are your projections here that um I'm not familiar with? So yeah.
Bro, I was like, You can just give me a quarterly. You ain't got to give me the whole year. Just tell me what you did
Yeah.
last quarter."
Hey, you know what? Let me actually be a not like a just a talker because I know they use Start Engine for their stuff. So let me actually just look it up real quick.
Okay, well, while you look that
Yeah.
up, um, I'm a kind of, I guess, retort in a sense what you said, but no, I understand that you probably can make money off of the app. And like I said, I do feel like there is some potential to compete with a Patreon. Now, what you said was funny because you said they had the subscription thing, which was already on Patreon. That was already a thing.
You're right.
So they weren't doing anything new. And the fact that Instagram then was doing it, I felt like was more of a response to Patreon more than it was a fan base. Now, the thing about doing any business, just like Clubhouse, you cannot make your competitive advantage off of a feature that can easily be duplicated.
Yeah.
Having an audio room on Clubhouse was literally the easiest thing to replicate. And anybody that knew anything about apps knew it was like three, two, one. Oh, it's on every other platform.
Yeah.
And it was done. So until fan base can bring something truly unique, like, and I'm gonna give out some free game. If say like your boy at Remo
Mm.
got with fan base and they made it to where you could have full scale live events that were exclusively on fan base to your fan base users. I was like, okay, now we talking about something. Now it's like I got, you know, engagement with the
Partnerships.
fans, and now I got even a big platform to do big live events, either virtually or even in person that I could broadcast virtually. Like there are things that can be done, but right now it's just another app. And until it brings something really changing to the plate, I'm not sure that it's going to really go anywhere. And until he gets off this high horse about you need to get off other social media platforms and come to fan base and start actually helping people grow their following on other social media platforms, so people will have an audience to bring the fan base, they're going to be stuck in the mud.
Like as I'm saying this, I'm thinking like, oh, you're just talking about what the white people are doing, not and comparing to the black people. But like, I mean, I'm comparing the business to business because now I'm also thinking about Adam Missouri, the
Mhm.
Instagram guy, and the way he talks about Instagram is literally just about the features that they're rolling out and doing it. Like every time I'm like, I can't be mad at that. He be saying stuff like that's not fully accurate as far as like people talking about this is what's happening to us on this platform. And he's like, that doesn't
Yeah.
happen. I'm like, yo, come on, man. But when he does talk about the features, it's always spot on. And it makes me very interested. Like I'm very interested in the app they're rolling out. That's basically a CapCut clone.
Hmm.
Because one thing Meta does well is copycat. So
Yeah.
they the best copycatters ever. Um,
Yeah. They
so
they
yeah,
definitely are.
I feel like Snapchat's investor relation page is built for investors. Fanbase's investor page is built for consumers.
Hmm. Interesting.
That's what it feels like.
But the entire setup is like that, really. It's from the website down. It's really toward the smaller investor and not toward like a VC at all. That's not.
Yeah.
I think he got enough of the
Okay, so
VC
I'm not mad
money,
at that then.
and then just going the crowdfunding route it gives you more ownership, because as soon as you go the VC route, you got to give up like half. But
Yeah,
it's hard to get VC half when you ain't really got half of much to give. Um,
that's true.
I'm
That's
just
true.
saying. I'm like, I don't know.
But here's the things actually that do make me like this is why I'm actually still like holding on to them. Like something they say is like we're putting community and creators first, ad free experiences. Missouri just announced that they're about to roll out ads on threads. We all knew it was coming,
Oh, for
but it's like,
sure.
man, yeah. The whole kind of algorithmic thing, part of why there isn't discoverability is because he didn't put in the whole algorithm thing that ends up, favoring this or that. So I do appreciate that. So it's going to be interesting once that does come into play and how that changes things. But I think it is needed for if you really wanted to be a platform where people grow. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
I don't know, a lot of question marks, but I will say like I'll go out on a limb full on like Don the Hill saying it's not a scam. It's just like it's it's,
hey,
it's more so like a let's just move a little different. That's
look,
all.
I'm not saying that fan base is a scam. I just said it just has a touch of scamish
It
glare
smells
on it on
scammy.
top. It's like you got to kind of squint your eyes a little bit. You be like, is it? Let me get a little
Hmm.
closer. that's what I'm
I
saying.
feel that.
You
I
know,
feel that.
I support all my black businesses. Shout out to everybody doing it. The fact that got this much motion, like I'm proud of
Yeah,
that. Like that's good. Like I love seeing that type of progress. But I'm a results based type of guy. Show me a result. That's all I want.
man. You know what? Let me take this moment to shout out another platform called Amaka Studios, AMAKA, and then Studios, because it's a black owned platform where you can put your content up, you can monetize, but they're fully on looking at it as like a Patreon alternative versus trying to compete with the Instagrams and stuff. And what I like about it is, place where you have your content, you can have a paywall, you don't have to have a paywall, but they also are implementing this whole like a place to connect with brands as well. And it's a
Mm,
newer platform. It's very international friendly. So like a lot of like people in Africa are able to utilize it. And apparently they can't utilize things or not everyone is able to utilize things like Patreon just based on like what bank accounts they have and stuff like that. So
hmm.
um yeah, when we talk about all these things, we definitely gotta bring them up. I got a podcast episode that I haven't put out yet, but it's coming.
Okay.
And it's a really dope conversation because we really just talked about just the creator economy and the this whole attack on DEI and the division that's created, and just both from a industry perspective, a creator perspective, and just yeah, it was very insightful. It was very insightful. So yeah,
Okay. No, definitely gonna be looking out for that one. That sounds like a good one.
oh yeah,
But look, man, I know you got to get up out of here, man. Um, I ain't gonna hold you up no more. So I definitely appreciate you doing this conversation, going a little bit over time. I'm hoping wifey ain't too mad, or whoever you got waiting on you ain't too upset, because this was a good conversation. I
hey,
felt like it's something that
forgiveness.
we needed to do.
It was forgiveness is a powerful thing. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
For real. Gratitude, forgiveness, bring it all.
Yo,
So yeah, speaking of gratitude, like I said, I appreciate you with time. Tell folk where to find you, Walter.
yeah, you can find me like literally on all the platforms, like to make sure I'm at least have something there. But I'm super active on YouTube right now. That's the platform I trust the most.
Hey.
My channel, Boss Locks Media, BOSSLOCKS Media, and I'm putting all my content there. The other platform I'm super excited about is LinkedIn. Walter Gander II on there, because right now there's like a shift happening on that platform. It's going from stuffy suit on to like okay, you could actually get some traction there too. A lot of people are sleeping on it, and I love to be on places that are powerful, have a lot like active, and not everyone's there yet. So I'm on LinkedIn. Connect with me, say what's up. But YouTube is where I'm going to be putting a lot more of my energy. So everywhere else you can find me, it's the Great Walt, ITS, the Great Walt. But YouTube and LinkedIn, come say what's up to me over there.
Okay. Definitely go find Walt down real quick. The new LinkedIn kind of made me dizzy. I'm not going to lie, bro. It was a little overstimulating. Like I feel like I need a tighter algorithm on this guy, or like I need some separations for the different types of content. Like it's too much. But we could talk about this later
It's
though.
yeah, that'll be the next one. We'll
Yeah,
do that
we
live actually.
absolutely. But all right, thanks to everyone out there for listening and watching. I am CL Palmer, aka CZ Pod Gang, on every single platform. I want y'all to make sure that y'all stay learning, stay up, and stay blessed. Peace.